Look at the weather.
It's beautiful here.
Non-stop rain.
Oh, man, it is a blazer out there.
It's cold and it's shivery.
It is cold.
Really coming down here.
I really enjoy your weather reports.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, we're talking weather in a whole new way. From historical events to what's coming up, plus weather news, science, safety, fun facts, and more.
I like where this is going.
This is Weather Weekly. Weather Weekly with Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey.
Welcome to the month of May and Weather Weekly. I am your host, Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey. Good to be with you here as we open up the month of May. We're going to skip some numbers here just so I can keep things nice and organized since we're still kind of early on. The infancy, if you will, of Weather Weekly and this podcast. So we're going to call this episode number 13. I know last week I said it was 11, but then the number says 12 and everybody gets confused. So let's just keep it nice and organized, shall we? Episode number 13 here of Weather Weekly. It's great to have you on board here. It's just me here today, no interviews, but we'll be talking plenty of weather. Lots to talk about here over the next 20 to 30 minutes. So we're happy to have you along. And of course, we always love your suggestions. We can take on any weather-related topic. We'd love to hit that, whether we can get some interviews or do some research, talk historical events, or look at forecasting. We love to hear from you. You can reach out via email, marcus.bailey@wishtv.com. I'm also on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and the Twitter, as the kids say, at Marcus Bailey Weather. So love to hear from you. Love to hear your suggestions and see where we go from here with this podcast. We like to have some fun with it. Nice and loose. The bosses let us have a good time. We can go as long as we want. And so I'm already off for the day. I'm done for the day. So this is all just kind of extracurricular and fun stuff here to talk about weather. As we get through the month of April, I wanted to kind of give a quick recap here, monthly recap on how we did specifically in central Indiana. That's where our podcast is based out of, Indianapolis, and moving and looking ahead to the month of May. Average temperature for the month of April in Indianapolis at 53.2 degrees. That is the 62nd warmest on record, so it kind of puts us in the middle of the road. Precip-wise, we did all right. We got 3.80 inches, I believe, is where we finished, right on the nose, and that is tied for 66th wettest on record. It's also interesting to note that our average precipitation for the month of April is 3.81. We finished at 3.80. Not bad. We did get 2 inches of snowfall in Indianapolis for the month of April. We're trying to forget that, right? That happened halfway through the month. One of the latest snowfalls on record. I believe it's the second latest measurable snow on record. The average snowfall is usually around 0.2 of an inch of snowfall for the month of April. We obviously exceeded that. And now we look ahead to the month of May, and we're looking forward to it. It's always a big month here in the city of Indianapolis as we kick off with a lot of Indianapolis 500 festivities. Some of those limited still due to the COVID-19 restrictions, but we're getting excited for a lot of the events that are going to be taking place. And that all culminates surrounding the Indianapolis 500, which will be the Sunday before Memorial Day at the end of the month. And we will have some fans. So far, they say 40% capacity, masked up. And they're going to be checking temperatures. But hey, we're excited. We're going to go racing. We're going to have people there. And it always means that summer is right around the corner once you get to that Memorial Day weekend and the Indianapolis 500. Always a big, big deal. We will spend some time on weather-related, all things weather and Indianapolis 500 as we get a little bit closer. Usually the past 6 years that I've been here at Wish TV, I kind of put something together and how weather plays a huge role in the Indianapolis 500. There's been numerous delays. There's been postponements. It's been a while since we've had to deal with that. So in a weatherman's perspective, I don't want to be that guy. I'll knock on wood. I always want to get 500 miles uninterrupted in, but we're also due. It's been a long time. So hopefully it won't be this year, though. Hopefully it won't be this year. Looking ahead to the month of May, we usually get an average high of 72.8, average low of 52.6. And May is the wettest month on the calendar here in central Indiana, averaging just over 5 inches of precipitation. So we'll watch out for that. Usually a very active month. It's also one of the heightened severe weather months, which I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about here coming up after the break as we kind of look and recap on what's happened this last week. Pretty active week severe weather-wise. Do want to hit up on some of those things that's been going on nationwide with severe weather. Also, we'll talk about some historic tornado or tornadic events that's happened here in Indiana, and some cool things to stare at the sky. You stargazers, as the weather gets a little bit more mild. We'll talk much more about that and many, many other things. Looking forward to this week's episode, number 13 here on Weather Weekly. Stay with us.
Audible's romance collection has something to satisfy every side of you. When it comes to what kind of romance you're into, you don't have to choose just one. Fancy a dalliance with a duke, or maybe a steamy billionaire. You could find a book boyfriend in the city and another one tearing it up on the hockey field. And if nothing on this earth satisfies, you can always find love in another realm. Discover modern rom-coms from authors like Lily Chu and Ali Hazelwood, the latest romantasy series from Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, plus Regency favorites like Bridgerton and Outlander. And of course, all the really steamy stuff. Your first great love story is free when you sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
All right, welcome back to Weather Weekly on episode 13 here, and we're just going to kind of hit up on some headlines, but it does kind of lead me in some different directions in talking weather things here. And specifically, as we start kind of now getting into the month of May, we're getting to the point now in, well, not just central Indiana, but much of the Midwest, where we're kind of at a heightened senses for severe weather. We've already seen several severe weather outbreaks so far, mainly in the deep south. And obviously their severe weather season starts much earlier than here in the Midwest. But now as the temperatures start to get warm, that threat starts to evolve across the Midwest and the Central Plains, what you typically know as Tornado Alley. Although that can be up for debate, and Deanna and I had talked about that in our last episode, talking about the April 27th outbreak, 10-year anniversary. There really, it seems to me that you've got just as many tornadoes down in Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, even parts of Tennessee, as they get out in Oklahoma, Texas, and into Kansas, what you traditionally know as Tornado Alley. So it's that time of year. It's a good time to be prepared. Good time to make sure you are set with your safety plan at home, at work, at school. Having your severe weather kit, your safety kit, with helmets and whistles and dry food and water bottles and first aid kits and those kind of things. And make sure you have a weather radio. We always recommend that. We don't get any extra money for trying to promote weather radios. We just think that those are the safest tool. I think they're just as important to have in your house as a smoke detector is, honestly. And it's always good to have two backup plans. The weather radio is best, and make sure that you have a second way of getting alerts. Your phone can do that, your smartphone, whether it's the WEA alerts, the WEA alerts, if you will. You get Amber alerts via that, but you also get severe weather alerts as well. And many apps, you can take care of that for you. Free apps will take care of that based on your location. So always good to have kind of a backup plan in case of severe weather. So busy week this week with severe weather, mainly in the southern plains and the deep south. Storm complex that kind of started spinning up Sunday night wreaked havoc across some of the southern states Monday morning. They were dealing with issues on Monday, and as I speak here on Tuesday, there have been numerous severe thunderstorm warnings and even a few tornado warnings in and around the Nashville, Tennessee area. The first of which, this storm system was coming up, left a lot of damage in Mississippi City Sunday night. It did spin up a tornado. And what was interesting Monday morning, that the city of Atlanta actually was under a tornado warning. There was a tornado warning polygon for Atlanta. So that was big time. We'll walk you through that here in a second. Shortly after 2 p.m. Monday, a damaging tornado confirmed near Elberton, Georgia, caused a warehouse to collapse. No injuries, thankfully, reported, and that storm moved to South Carolina and prompted more tornado warnings in several of those counties in South Carolina. And there was actually a second tornado reported a little bit later in, I believe it's Abbeville County in South Carolina. There were several storms that rolled across Mississippi overnight that produced more than a dozen tornadoes. Unfortunately, there was a fatality reported in Douglasville, Georgia. This was a driver, and this is why we always recommend that you're not on the road during tornado warnings. And the town of Tupelo was hit pretty hard, where there was a tornado emergency that was issued. Many homes and trees, power lines were all damaged or destroyed. About 45 miles east or southeast of there, Calhoun City was also hit by a tornado as well. These are coming in reports from local affiliate WTVA. I wrote a note down here that those of you that are weather nerds like myself and pay attention to this kind of thing, earlier on Sunday, before Tupelo was hit, there was a tornado reported in Yazoo City. Yazoo City, for those that follow severe weather, will know that name. It's been hit probably at least a couple of times in recent memory, but it really made headlines I've got it pulled up here. I believe an outbreak in April of 2010. Yazoo City was hit extraordinarily hard. It was with an EF4 tornado during that time. So that was 11 years ago. A little over 11 years ago, there were 10 fatalities and 146 injuries in Yazoo City, with the highest winds measured. Now, Yazoo City is in Mississippi, I should mention. 170 mile per hour max winds were estimated with that EF4 tornado that ended up hitting the town of Yazoo City. It was actually 3 towns that were hit pretty hard. Tallulah, Yazoo City, and Durant, Mississippi. That was with a pretty big outbreak over a span of 2 days down in the deep south. 56 EF0s those 2 days, 17 EF1s, 9 EF2s, 4 EF3s, and 2 EF4s, including the one in Yazoo City that basically leveled that town. According to CNN, they got the report here. They talked to the Yazoo County emergency manager, Director Jack Willingham, said he didn't have any injuries reported on that Sunday tornado, but they did have numerous damaged structures. So, town that was hit awfully, awfully hard. Atlanta, I mentioned, was under a tornado warning. Now, this is coming from the Weather Channel right up here. The Weather Service confirmed a tornado touchdown in Fulton County. That's Atlanta in Georgia, southwest of I-20 and I-285 between 10 a.m. or about 10 a.m. or 10:20 a.m. Monday morning. Tornado warnings were issued for Fulton and DeKalb counties until 11:15 a.m. And then those eventually were progressed to severe thunderstorm warnings. They obviously put Atlanta public school students to shelter in place as the tornado warnings rolled through. It looks like the worst of it was power outages. 5,700 homes and businesses in Fulton County were without power by around lunchtime, according to powerOutages.us. So that was that. And then farther north, you did have some possible tornadoes as far north as Kentucky, Tompkinsville, Kentucky, Monday morning, according to WKRN out of Nashville, reported that Monroe County dispatchers said that there were significant damage across the city, which is about 70 miles northeast of Nashville, Tennessee. So this was in southern Kentucky. Weather Service office in Louisville said a survey crew would inspect the damage. Have yet to hear back on any of that. So that's kind of what happened over the last couple of days, but obviously a very active start to the month of May as we really start to kind of ramp things up for severe weather season. I mentioned before the break that May traditionally one of the wetter months, and so that it is the wettest month actually when we average about 5 inches of snow, 5 inches of rain. My goodness, 5 inches of rain for the entire month here of May here in Indianapolis. So that obviously is going to come with the possibilities of severe weather. It's interesting and just kind of looking back. And so as we kind of stay on the theme of active weather and severe weather, I got curious about tornado outbreaks in Indiana, and we've had our fair share of them. I mentioned May, usually a very active month. June is also one of the more active months. In fact, if memory serves me correctly, May, historically speaking, is the most active in terms of tornado reports in our history. If you're looking back on just sheer numbers, not averages, but sheer numbers of reports in terms of tornadoes, June is by far the highest for central Indiana. And just looking at the top 20 Indiana tornado outbreaks, the number one day was June 2nd, 1990, 37 reported tornadoes in one single day. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that here in a bit. And I will likely spend some time with Steven coming up at the beginning of next month to mark that anniversary. That would have been 31 years ago. 31 years ago coming up this upcoming June. 37 tornadoes, but I'll speak a little bit more about that. Number two, not that long ago, it was another big one, November 17th, 2013. Those of you who remember that, a high-risk day. It was a very, very rare November tornado outbreak. I remember it vividly because I was in Illinois at the time. It was also an extreme tornado risk in Illinois. That we were under a high risk there. That was November 17th, 2013, 30 tornadoes. April 19th, 2011, 29 tornadoes occurred then. And then you got a couple others that happened in the month of May. May 30th, 2004, 24 tornadoes. That also included, and we'll talk more about this in an upcoming episode of Weather Weekly. It did impact one of the runnings of the Indianapolis 500 where fans at the race had to shelter in place, and they actually had to end up canceling or ending the race early because of severe weather in the area. May 25th, 2011, 22 tornadoes. And April 3rd, 1974, 21 tornadoes. The most recent on the list, there's actually a couple of them. April 15th, 2016, we had 8 tornadoes. And August 15th, 2016 was 8 tornadoes. And then just a few days later, actually it was a week later, August 24th of 2016, 11 tornadoes. Many of you may remember that as the Kokomo tornado where that Starbucks was completely leveled up in Howard County. So that was the most recent tornado outbreak that we've had here in recent memory. But I think it also goes to show that it could happen any time of year. What's interesting, just looking at this list, there's a lot of Aprils and Mays and Junes, obviously. But even on this list, and again, this is your top 20 tornado outbreaks. February 25th, 1956, there were nine tornadoes in one day. October, there's been a couple. Most recently in 2001, October 24th, it was pretty late in the month, we had 9 tornadoes. So they can happen literally in any given month, any given day. In fact, when I go and talk to schools pre-COVID times, one of the graphics I always love to show is the annual count for tornadoes here in central Indiana. And there has never been a month where we've had 0 reports of tornadoes. That includes January. That includes December. We've had a tornado reported at least once for every month of the calendar year here in central Indiana. So it can happen any time. Sure, there is a heightened risk. We're in that right now. April, May, and June is typically your prime time for severe weather, but it can happen any time of year. So always good to be weather aware. And so a lot of these outbreaks that we kind of mentioned, we'll spend a lot more time. I think it's interesting just looking at that record-setting day, the number 1 tornado outbreak, which again was June 2nd, 1990. There were, I believe, 2 F4s. They weren't considered EF4s at that time, F4s, that totaled in just those 2 tornadoes, 7 deaths, happening in southern Indiana, Lawrence, Gibson, and Pike counties. But we also had an additional fatality in Putnam and Hendricks County with an EF2 that moved through. So kind of a tragic day with all of those tornadoes. And again, we'll spend some more time here, probably about 4 episodes from now, talking about that significant tornado outbreak. Something else to look ahead to here as we start rolling along this week, if you are a stargazer, hopefully I'm pronouncing this correctly, the Eta Aquarid meteors or meteor shower will be taking place here this week. As we are recording this, May the 4th, you will likely see these peak here on May the 5th and May the 6th. Best time frame to check these out will likely be the mornings of May the 5th, which is Wednesday morning. So if you're listening to this immediately when this gets posted, it's already happened. But if you missed out, you'll be able to check it out Thursday morning as well. And the good news is we don't see a lot of light, hopefully coming from a waning crescent moon near dawn. So you should be able to see that fairly well as we get going here to the latter portions of this week. Best chance to check this out is the southeast sky. Southeast sky, you'll also see Neptune potentially off in the distance as well. So some fun things to check out here. You may be able to see about 26 meters per hour. So it's not a lot, but maybe able to see a few shooting stars here from time to time. Again, check that out. That's the Eta Aquarid meteor shower peaking on May 5th and May 6th. That is an annual event. So if you miss it this year, you'll have another chance coming up next year as well. We'll talk about that forecast. Look ahead to your upcoming work week forecast, the weekend Mother's Day coming up, and looking ahead to the long range forecast as well. That's coming up next here on Weather Weekly. Welcome back as we wrap things up here on episode number 13 of Weather Weekly. Let's get you your weekly forecast here. It's going to be kind of an active pattern, it appears, for the remainder of the week with renewed rain chances on Thursday, May the 6th. It looks like we'll also have some rain opportunities here coming in for Mother's Day weekend. It's going to be unusually cool as well, with highs around 60 both Thursday and Friday to wrap up this first week of May. It looks like we'll likely bounce back to the mid to upper 60s for both Saturday and Sunday heading into Mother's Day weekend, but both with rain chances Saturday afternoon, looking heading to Sunday on Mother's Day, some scattered showers as well, and then opening up the new work week into the mid-60s, both on Monday and Tuesday of the next week. That would be the 10th and the 11th. If you want to look at the 8 to 14 day outlook, which will take us into the middle of the month, so between May 11th and May 17th, Climate Prediction Center has us in a good chance for below average temperatures. This early in the month, our average high should be close to 70 degrees. We're going to fail to get to that mark, it looks like, at least for the next 5 to 8 days. And there's a good possibility it could go beyond that in the next 8 to 14 days as well. So kind of starting the first half of the month off on the cooler end. The good news is it doesn't look like we have any signs of any significant severe weather at this point, but the pattern is active. And so that always opens up the door to the possibility of some strong storms when you start getting into an active weather pattern. So a lot to look out for here. Hopefully you have a fantastic weekend. Again, we'd love to hear your ideas here for Weather Weekly. We cover a wide range of topics, whether it be the forecast, severe weather, winter weather. We love doing interviews as well. If you got somebody that you want us to reach out to, hit us up. You can email me anytime at marcus.bailey@wishtv.com. And I'm also on social media as well, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search for Marcus Bailey Weather. I believe my handle just on Twitter is at Marcus Bailey. No weather, just at Marcus Bailey. And we'd love to hear your ideas and get the ball rolling here on this podcast for sure. Coming up, and again, in future episodes on Weather Weekly, we're going to be talking about some historical significant weather events. And as we're getting close to the Indianapolis 500, I do want to spend a full episode on just the impact of weather and the race as well. Obviously, it plays a vital role for drivers and pit crews on strategy and just kind of the historical events on how weather has played out at the greatest spectacle in racing. We hope to hear from you then. We will be back next week here on Weather Weekly. Thank you so much for joining us. And make sure to check out all of our other great weather podcasts, on the All Indiana Podcast Network.
Discover more from Storm Track 8 Weather and Wish TV. Online at wishtv.com and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Plus, be sure to check out more great podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.